Hey guys, welcome to yet another episode of We Drive. I'm excited because we're going to talk motorcycles. And to make it better, we're going to take off on something that has not been available in the Indian market for a very long time. It's the super sport category. Now, what is the super sport category? Basically, they are the brothers of the race motorcycles, which are now made road legal. They run slick tires, they don't have indicators, they don't have mirrors. Now what we get over here as a super sport in the market globally is the same replication of that with a few regulations, starting with trafficators, mirrors, road tires, barely legal. And what better we started with Kawasaki, which is the first entrant into the Indian market. Prior to Kawasaki, there were two other brands which had super sports in India, which was the 959 Panigale and the Triumph Daytona 675. Now, these two were the only motorcycles available at the time. The reason being that the Indian government had a ban, or rather an embargo, on super sport. The definition being an inline four, very light and very nimble. It meant danger for some of them. Now, God bless, they've taken that ban off. And now Kawasaki has launched in the ZX6R. And I'll be taking you through a few details of the same. So, shall we move on to the same? And so I'd like to start from the engine. So it runs the inline 4 636cc engine, belting out 130 horsepower at 13,500 RPM and 17 Newton meters of torque at 11,000. The engine is placed seriously low for a super sport, and that enhances the handling, especially going around corners. It eases into the corners even better, and super quick, no doubt about it, but you need to hold up the revs at lower gears to really enjoy this motorcycle, because on Indian roads you're not going to go around 13,500 RPM and any given traffic. As you keep going down, it's again surrounded by a perimeter frame, all aluminum, and it runs in the exhaust from the side, which is stock. Sounds good, no doubt about it. You can look at a lot of people going into the aftermarket products, and it's got a very polarizing look if you look at the front end of it, because it's not very supportive for everybody, very subjective to owners. The best view for this motorcycle would be from the third quarter angle, where it highlights the rear tire and of course very pointy tail end. It'll look even better without the tail, with the tail tidy along. And it comes in with electronics like KTRC, which is a Kawasaki traction control system, which can be in 3 different modes, 1, 2 and 3, and there's also an off mode, which goes berserk if switched off. In terms of suspension, they've got the Showa's big piston forks. They run a separate setup for both the left and the rear, the left and the right, I'm sorry. The left has heavier springs for preload adjustment and a regulated system on the right for damping and compression. They have 310mm rotors in the front with a 4-piston Nissan calipers, running a 120 tire in the front. And what Kawasaki says is the splitting of the rebound and compression and the handling of the preload on the left is to aid the handling, of course, lighter in weight, and they reduce the friction with the inner tube and the outer. As I move further down, they run 180 section in the rear with unitrack suspension, fully adjustable for preload, damping and rebound. Alright, now I'll just explain a few of the features and the instrumentation cluster that's available on the ZX6R. Fairly typical Japanese motorcycle quality build. We have very minimalistic display out here, the console. Everything is up front and in hand, very straightforward. It comes with 3 levels of traction, 1, 2 and 3, which you can switch off like I explained earlier. This is monitored by the use of the toggle switches on the left side of the handlebar. The upper press would show you your trip and your odometer. The down would help you with your, basically your temperature, your fuel economy and your range. The select button would help you choose which power variation are you wanting to go with. Power mode, you have full or partial. Now, the ZX6R has a quick shift. for the up only. The reason being, for downshift, Kawasaki insists that you go with the engine braking that goes along with the bike. So for the upshifts on a pure spirited riding mode, you're good with it. Okay, so far you've seen me kind of nervous when I explain the whole technical specifications of the motorcycle, but now I'm excited because I'm going to tell you about how it is to ride. At 810 millimeters odd seat height is fairly comfortable. Suspensions are firm. You're in line with the motorcycle. It explains everything to you. You're in with it. You're one with the motorcycle. The only drawback I could say is we don't have the roads over here right now to experience 13,500 RPM peak to belt out that 130 horses. Now, that said, the inline 4 is placed fairly forward, so you are actually closing your knees in together. It does its job pretty well for a super sport. It's nimble, but very light. Given 196 kilograms of curb weight, this is in comparison to, let's say, a layman's figure. A Royal Enfield 350 might be around 190. This is at 196. So, given that and a 130 horsepower engine, it's sweet. And the noise it makes. There's nothing like an inline 4 at full speed. You all must know that by now. Yes, I have ridden a Panigale 959. I have been on a Triumph Daytona 675. But they're all different characters. For people who are looking into the first time sports bike section, yes, it's a good buy for the price it's offered in the Indian market. Given that if you're looking at suspension, that's going to be a little bit on the softer side. Sorry, this is not your cup of tea. It's going to be firm because this is a track machine. And yes, I'm super excited after riding it. I'm still got the goosebumps and my adrenaline's all pumped up. So yes, it is worth every single penny that you would spend on a Kawasaki ZX6R in the Indian market.